Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Sahara Omar. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist practicing here in the state of Texas. And today's video, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more on people pleasing, which is also known as the fawn response or fawning, which is coming from initially a trauma response in itself. I wanted to share with you guys like common signs of it, where does it come from initially, and how do you overcome it as well. The point of this channel, by the way, is to help you guys understand mental health from a deeper perspective, but not just label things, and find also practical ways to overcome things and arrive at wholeness. As a culture, we do a really good job labeling a lot of activities and experiences that we're having, but we don't actually work towards closing some of these trauma wounds that we have. And that's just the point of this channel, is to help you actually find those ways that you can close these childhood wounds and the pain that we experience from early on in our developmental stages. Okay. All right. So when we think of people pleasing, it is also technically known as a fawn response. Fawning is giving into that potential threat, right? So I have a video on the 4 trauma responses. I highly recommend you guys go back and look at it. Technically, when we're kids, initially, I want to share with you guys where it comes from, and then I'll share common signs. When we're kids growing up, if we had a safe environment where our parents listened to us, and not only our parents, but also adults around us were very respectful of our needs and very caring and gentle towards us, we are able to not find ourselves stuck in these trauma responses. But if we had a lot of bullying or abuse or assaults or repeat traumas, painful events over and over again, specifically if the caregivers were dominating us all the time on an emotional level, psychological level, or even physical or even sexual level as well, we learn practical ways to coexist with that, right? Because we don't have the power as children, especially when I say children, I'm focused here on before age 10. We don't have the physical ability to stand up to people that are hurting us. So technically the only option that we have is to submit to that threat, right? So when we're fawning, we're typically are just saying, hey, I throw my hands up, I'm not able to win this, so I'm just gonna do whatever the person is expecting of me. So, but the challenge is we don't only just stop there, we find other ways to also elevate the experience by giving into and anticipating anything that the person who's potentially going to harm us would like from us. It's a strategy that is so fascinating, how the brain finds itself to survive. But the challenge is for all of us, first recognize what it is, and then also identify truly where it comes from. This is why I highly recommend getting into therapy, because your therapist will help you see it truly where it comes from and help you hold people accountable, so that way you're not stuck in that loop in itself as well. All right, so common signs of people pleasing is we don't know how to say no at all. So we're saying yes when we know that we want to say no. Common example of this would be like, do you want to hang out? Yes. Do you want to do this? Yes, right? People who technically say yes a lot without pausing and reflecting on their own calendar and on their own schedule typically are people pleasers, right? Like they're trying to make people around them happy with them. The second common sign is avoiding conflict at all cost. People who are people pleasers, typically they withdraw really fast. They sometimes find themselves avoiding people and avoiding accountability altogether. They just don't like the yelling potentially there, or the level of intensity in conflicts that show up sometimes, because emotions can rise up when we are not agreeing with something, right? So typically it's easier to just, for a people pleaser, to just avoid conflict at all cost. Another sign is prioritizing other people's needs above your own need, making sure that other people are happy all the time. If you're a people pleaser, you might find yourself self-sacrificing. That's another word that we use a lot in the psych world, where we're saying, I don't matter what I need. It does not matter. Let me make sure that you are happy with me at all cost. Another example is difficulty identifying or even expressing your own needs to other people. Not only not knowing what you need, but also not asking what you need from other people to help you meet it, right? So for example, if you need help with cleaning the house, not able standing up for yourself and saying that, and also not able to say I need some time off. People pleasers typically find themselves working hard, either picking up extra shifts and picking up extra projects in different ways that they are just kind of occupying themselves so that way they're not hurting people around them, or potentially avoid all conflicts altogether as well too. And not also knowing how to set boundaries, right? Like being a little bit more assertive, saying, yeah, that's not going to work for me, or I don't want to do that, right? Like that's already feels very conflict oriented to a people pleaser. I did make a video also on boundaries. I highly recommend go back and watch that, because that helps you understand what part of you still struggles to stand up to somebody, specifically what type of boundary, because there are 7 different type of boundaries, and we want to be a little bit more in tune to all 7 as well. Okay. Another common sign of people pleasing is feeling guilty, and also feeling anxious when you're trying to assert yourself, right? A lot of my clients who are people pleasers will say, I feel bad, like it feels so bad to say what I want, or I feel so guilty to say no to my mom or my dad because I just never have been before, right? It goes back down to our childhood always, right? If we had healthy parents who challenged us, but that also respected us, we're able to stand up for people. But if we had parents who just told us and they were so domineering and controlling, we don't know what it feels like to stand up for ourselves, to say, yeah, that's not going to work for me, without feeling any guilt, because you deserve to stand up for yourself and what you need, okay? And then the last common sign that we see as well is taking responsibility for others' emotions or reactions as well too. With people pleasers, they typically feel a lot of emotions all the time. One way that when we are fawning is to learn how to anticipate and read people's emotions on their face, specifically nonverbal communications, where we are just making sure that nothing blows up or nothing comes out of nowhere. So reading the room too much, or reading into what somebody says too much, or how somebody reacts a certain way too much, right? Where the brain goes back down to, I don't want to experience that potential threat or conflict, so I'm just going to read everybody's expression in the room. Sometimes people pleasers identify themselves as an empath as well too. Empath is a form of people pleasing, just learning how to anticipate and read people's emotions so that we don't get hurt in the long term as well. Okay, so those are the common signs that people pleasers have, or when we're stuck in a fawning response. The challenge is, how do you come out of it, right? I highly recommend, again, therapy is a good start, right? Because your brain has to understand that it's not you. It wasn't your fault. You had to do fawning just to survive. And it wants to, at the core, our brain naturally wants to hold people accountable as well too. That's that justice piece, right? So holding that person who made you feel that way accountable allows you to step out of people pleasing. Another way that we also help clients come out of the people pleasing is becoming comfortable with anger. It's an emotion that every people pleaser run away from usually. Their idea of anger is explosive, toxic, the yelling, breaking things, throwing tantrums, right? Where healthy anger allows you to set your boundaries, right? So it's almost like we need that catalyst, which is anger, to advocate for you setting that boundary. Because if you're not angry about anything, then therefore you don't have any boundaries, right? So learning how to be angry is a common skill there that we teach in therapy. And also allowing yourself to give yourself a permission to step out of the people pleasing in general. It's a mindset. It's like almost like a way that you are telling yourself, like, hey, I will no longer fawn. I will no longer people please. I will no longer allow other people's need to come before me. That will challenge you to give yourself that permission to also feel the anger and also set those boundaries as you're going along, okay? And the one more technique that I like to give all of my clients usually is recognize that you matter as well too. Your voice matters, your thoughts matter, what you want to do matters as well too. You're an adult now. Hopefully when you're watching this video, you are an adult, but you matter, right? Like you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be respected, you deserve to stand up for yourself as well too. So spending time doing things that make you happy naturally will help you protect it in the long term as well, right? So looking into hobbies that you like to do, activities that you always wanted to try, places that you want to go to, food that you always wanted to try but you were just never allowed to. Another way to look at this is getting to know yourself at the core, because when we are people pleasers, we were allowed to not do that, and instead we focus mostly on the people around us to make sure that they're happy with us. So a lot of people who are people pleasers typically do not know who they are at the core as well too. So spending time to understand your core values and what you like and dislike and what you think about this world is also one step closer to coming out of that fawn response. Okay. All right, I hope you guys liked the video. Feel free to hit that thumbs up and also leave me a comment. And also don't forget to share this video with anybody who's a recovering people pleaser as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.